I never imagined a simple cracked coffee mug could turn my world upside down until that fateful morning. I'm Gideon Harrow, 38, and I'm the owner of Neon Brew, a successful chain of 12 specialty coffee shops across Seattle. In this city of perpetual drizzle and coffee culture, where the air is permanently infused with the scent of freshly roasted beans and rain-soaked streets. I started from humble beginnings with just a weathered cart, investing every bit of myself into building this dream for 15 years. My wife, Leora Vance, was my constant support, working as a food industry data analyst. At 36, she's brilliant and determined, with a radiant smile that once brought warmth to our home. We're parents to two wonderful kids, Juniper, 14, and Soren, 12. Everything seemed perfect, stable, until that message arrived. I was experimenting with a new espresso blend in my office when my phone vibrated. Leora's message appeared. "Can you come home early? We need to talk." That's all it said. No heart emojis, no warmth, just those 8 stark words. My stomach churned. Something wasn't right. Not just the message itself, but how it felt, like an icy stone disturbing peaceful waters. I responded with, "Why?" She replied instantly, "It's important." I kept staring at those words, the coffee's aroma suddenly turning acrid in my nostrils. I attempted to call her, but reached her voicemail instead. Her professional, measured voice invited me to leave a message. I didn't bother. "Hey, before we continue with this intriguing story, let me take a quick break. Where are you tuning in from? Share in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious. And if you're hooked on this tale so far, don't forget to hit subscribe to stay updated. You won't regret sticking around for what's next." The feeling of dread wouldn't leave. I was reaching for my jacket to leave when Callie, my assistant, stopped me. At 29, she's observant and quick-minded, never missing a detail. "Everything all right, boss?" she inquired from her desk. I showed her the message. Her brow furrowed. "Isn't Leora supposed to be at work?" My heart sank. "That's what I thought," I replied. Callie looked puzzled. "She took today off. Didn't she mention it?" I stood motionless. No, she hadn't. This wasn't like Leora at all. She's meticulous about her schedule, approaching life like a strategic game of chess. Why was she home, and why was I in the dark about it? I navigated through Seattle's misty streets, windshield wipers battling the persistent drizzle. My thoughts raced uncontrollably. Could it be about the children? Juniper had been temperamental lately, typical teenage phases, but nothing concerning. Soren was doing well, completely absorbed in his robotics projects. Financial troubles, perhaps? No, Neon Brew was flourishing, and Leora's position provided stable income. As I pulled into the driveway of our Craftsman home near Lake Union, I realized I was clutching the steering wheel with unnecessary force. The porch light flickered oddly, despite the daylight. Stepping inside, I found her in the kitchen. Leora, my wife. Yet somehow, she seemed like a stranger. She pivoted slowly, methodically, as if this moment had been rehearsed. She held the coffee mug I'd presented her during my proposal, a worn ceramic piece featuring Neon Brew's original logo. Now it bore a deep crack, splitting it in two. Her eyes met mine, dark and impenetrable. "Gideon," she spoke emotionlessly, "there's something you should know." I stood silently, my heart racing. "I'm relocating to Portland tomorrow. For 3 months. The company needs me there." I stared in disbelief. 3 months? When was this decided? She placed the damaged mug on the counter with a shrug. "It's sudden. I didn't want to cause you concern. That's when I noticed something peculiar. Not the broken mug or her words, but her hands. They were unnaturally still, showing no signs of anxiety. Leora always fidgets when concealing something. It's her tell. But now, complete stillness. She'd clearly made her decision about whatever was happening. I moved closer, the floorboards creaking beneath me. "Why keep this from me?" She gazed out at the rain. I didn't think it was significant. My jaw clenched. Not significant? After 15 years of marriage, building this life and family together, you treat this like it's trivial? Suddenly, her purse buzzed on the table. Her phone. I reached it before she could, revealing an unfamiliar name. "Talia." The message preview read, "Bring the contract tonight. Meet me at the Anchor." I looked at her questioningly. "Who's Talia?" Leora's expression remained unchanged, but her tone grew sharp. "A work associate. Business matters. Hand it over, Gideon." I refused, maintaining eye contact through the tension-filled air between us. A contract meeting at a bar? In Portland? She reached for the phone, but I withdrew. What's really going on, Leora? Tell me now, or I'll discover it. Myself. She remained silent, motionless, the fractured cup between us like an ominous portent. In that instant, comprehension dawned. Whatever secrets she harbored went beyond mere employment. Something more substantial, more sinister, and I was unwittingly about to plunge into a tempest I couldn't escape. Leora's wordless response struck me more profoundly than any justification she might have offered. I stood rooted in our kitchen, her device still vibrating in my grasp. Talia's message illuminated like a countdown to chaos. Raindrops pelted the window panes, creating an erratic rhythm that matched my heartbeat. I placed the phone down, but not before capturing an image of the display. Intuition suggested I'd need this proof later. Leora stood defensive, arms crossed, expression unyielding. "You're being irrational, Gideon," she stated coldly, her tone reminiscent of disciplining our children. I wasn't convinced. Irrational? You're departing for a quarter of a year tomorrow, and I'm just learning about it. Who exactly is Talia? And what's this about meeting at a bar for contracts? She grabbed her phone hastily, movements betraying urgency. "It's business-related," she retorted. "A supplementary project. You wouldn't comprehend." I narrowed the gap between us, the damaged coffee cup still there, taunting me. "Enlighten me," I challenged. She turned away, stuffing the phone into her handbag. "I don't have time for explanations. I need to prepare." With that, she ascended the stairs, abandoning me with only the refrigerator's steady drone and an overwhelming sense of foreboding. I wanted to pursue her, demand clarity, but remained paralyzed. Instead, I retrieved my keys and departed, seeking clarity in the night air. The light rain had intensified into a downpour when I reached Neon Brew's main location, a welcoming establishment downtown featuring industrial architecture and ambient lighting. Callie remained inside, securing the premises, raincoat hood drawn tight. Spotting me through the glass, she gestured me inside. "Domestic discord?" she inquired, balancing playfulness with concern. I responded by displaying Talia's message photo. She examined it briefly before her expression shifted to alarm. "The Rusty Anchor? That's a questionable establishment in Portland. I've visited once. Dangerous clientele. Why would Leora arrange meetings there?" Though uncertain, I was determined to uncover the truth. Callie retrieved her computer, typing furiously. One moment, she muttered, "Something's occurring to me." While she worked, I paced restlessly, the rich aroma of espresso grounds permeating the atmosphere. My thoughts raced uncontrollably. Leora has always been the epitome of caution and precision. She's our family's anchor, meticulously balancing our finances, organizing vacations months in advance, maintaining order in every aspect. This behavior seemed alien. Or perhaps I'd been too engrossed in my coffee enterprise to notice the changes. Callie's voice jolted me from my ruminations. "Found something," she announced, rotating her laptop toward me. "Talia Grayson. She's the marketing director at Cascade Foods. They're a major force in Portland. Gideon, they're our primary competition's heavyweight." My mouth went desert dry. Cascade Foods? The same corporation that's been systematically undermining our supplier relationships and stealing our clientele? What could Leora possibly want with them? I pressed against the counter, feeling its edge bite into my hands. "There's more," Callie continued, her voice lowering ominously. "I've been scanning industry forums. Word is Talia is notorious for recruiting talent. They say she's merciless, offering substantial compensation for loyalty switches." I fixed her with an intense stare. "You're suggesting Leora's defecting?" Callie's noncommittal shrug spoke volumes. "Perhaps something more insidious. That contract she mentioned? It might transcend a mere job offer. Could be something covert." My chest constricted painfully. "What kind of deal?" Callie paused before meeting my gaze directly. "Information. Your wife has complete access to Neon Brew's financial data through your joint accounts. If she's selling that to Cascade, we'd be finished." The world tilted precariously. I gripped the counter tighter, its surface frigid beneath my fingers. Leora couldn't betray us like this. She was instrumental in building this business. Every exhausting night, every hard-won loan, she stood beside me. Yet I recalled her steady demeanor, her evasiveness, the mysterious bar meeting. Doubt infiltrated my mind like creeping mold. I extracted my phone and messaged Amos Klein, a seasoned private investigator I'd encountered when dealing with a fraudulent supplier years ago. Need surveillance in Portland, I typed. Starting tomorrow. Critical. His response was immediate. Ready. Send specifics. With trembling hands, I forwarded Talia's information and the bar's location. Returning home, I found the house. Shrouded in darkness, with Leora's vehicle still parked outside. The stairs protested beneath my feet as I made my way up cautiously. A sliver of light escaped through her partially open bedroom door. Peering inside, I observed her methodically folding clothes, but something else captured my attention. Perched on the dresser beside her luggage was an unfamiliar black notebook. She opened it briefly, jotted something down, then slipped it into her bag. My heart skipped. What secrets filled those pages? Lists? Contacts? Confidential information? She turned abruptly, causing me to retreat hastily, my heart thundering. Though she missed seeing me, I glimpsed her reflection. Her expression showed neither remorse nor anxiety, just intense concentration. She looked like an imposter wearing my wife's face. I retreated to the guest room, securing the lock behind me. Rest seemed impossible. Perched on the bed's edge, I studied Talia's message again. The rusty anchor, a mysterious contract, Cascade Foods, elements of a disturbing puzzle I wished to ignore but couldn't dismiss. Tomorrow, Leora would depart, and Amos would begin his surveillance. Whatever she concealed was significant, perilous. I was about to discover the true extent of this conspiracy. Outside, persistent rain continued its rhythmic descent, urging me toward revelations I might not be prepared to face. By daybreak, Leora had vanished. Her bed remained pristine, the suitcase gone, leaving only a terse note on the kitchen counter. Early flight departure. Will contact children. Love, L. The message, written in her precise script, lacked warmth or details. The damaged coffee mug stood nearby, mocking me silently. I crushed the note and discarded it, the sound reverberating through the vacant house. Seattle's perpetual rain streaked down the window panes, its grayness reflecting my internal turmoil. Stillness was impossible. That mysterious black notebook plagued my thoughts, while Amos Klein journeyed toward Portland. I dropped Juniper and Soren at school, their expressions heavy with unspoken concerns. Juniper's embrace lingered longer than normal, her whispered question piercing my heart. Is Mom all right? I mustered a reassuring smile. She just caught up with work, sweetheart. She'll return soon. A deception, but alternatives eluded me. Soren remained focused on his backpack, acknowledging with just a nod. Their silent struggle with her absence weighed heavily on me. Once back in the car, I contacted Callie. Any word about Talia? I inquired while navigating traffic. Her exhale spoke volumes. Nothing concrete, but I contacted someone at Cascade Foods. They're being evasive. Mentioned Talia has been unreachable for weeks, involved in something significant. My hands clenched the steering wheel. Unreachable? Along with my wife? By midday, I found myself at Neon Brew, sequestered in my office, an untouched cold coffee before me. Callie entered suddenly. You look terrible, she remarked, depositing a document pile on my desk. I couldn't disagree. Sleep had evaded me, replaced by recurring thoughts of Leora's steady movements and that untouched notebook. What's this? I asked, examining the documents. Supply records, she explained. I compared them with our database. Something's irregular. 3 deliveries from last quarter, all diverted through a Portland-based distributor. Care to guess the owner? I met her gaze, anxiety mounting. Cascade Foods, she confirmed. My coffee grew colder still. Leora's been revealing our distribution network? My phone interrupted my thoughts. Amos. I answered immediately. Update me. His rough voice crackled through. She's here in Portland. Arrived earlier. Taxi took her directly to the rusty anchor. Currently meeting someone. Tall woman, black hair, expensive suit. Matches Talia's description. I leaned forward, heart racing. What's happening? Amos paused, background noise of clinking glasses filtering through. Intimate conversation. Sharing drinks. Talia passed her a substantial folder. Leora's reviewing it now. My insides churned. A folder? Like the contract mentioned in the text? Amos grunted affirmatively. Should I move closer? I considered briefly. Yes, but remain undetected. After hanging up, I stared at the records. This transcended a simple career move. This was outright treachery. I couldn't contain myself. Snatching my keys, I rushed toward the exit, almost colliding with Callie. "Where are you headed?" she called out. "To check that folder's contents," I yelled back, already racing to my vehicle. The journey to the bank passed in a haze, raindrops blurring across the windshield like my scattered thoughts. I needed to verify if Leora had accessed our accounts. The young teller, wearing an uneasy smile, accessed our shared records. "No withdrawals," he informed me, "but there's a recent login from Portland. Yesterday." My heart sank. She checked our business accounts, the essence of Neon Brew, right after avoiding my calls. I muttered thanks and stepped into the damp air that stung my cheeks. What game was she playing? Returning home, I searched frantically through her workspace, a compact room adjacent to the garage she'd designated for her late-night tasks. Scattered papers, writing implements, and an unused laptop gathering dust. Then I discovered it, hidden beneath old tax documentation. An unmarked flash drive, its dark exterior worn from frequent handling. With trembling fingers, I connected it to my computer. A loan document appeared. Contacts. I clicked it open. A comprehensive list: names, contact details, email addresses. Every connection in Neon Brew's network, meticulously documented. Below it all, a scanned note in her handwriting. Delivered to T by week's end. Complete payment upon delivery. T. Talia. This wasn't just abandonment. This was betrayal. My phone's ring startled me. Amos again. "She's moving," he whispered. Left the bar with Talia. They're at some luxury downtown condo. I followed them. Saw Leora with that notebook again, writing intensely. Looking anxious. Then Talia embraced her before they entered. My fist tightened. Anxious? Or conscience-stricken? "Keep watching," I instructed. "I need more information." He agreed before disconnecting. I fixated on the flash drive, its indicator light pulsing rhythmically. My partner of 15 years was systematically destroying our life's work, and I held the evidence. But for what? Financial gain? Control? Or something more sinister lurking beneath? I collapsed into her chair as the room seemed to shrink. Rain pounded overhead, an endless drumbeat. The folder, notebook, and drive pieces of a puzzle I dreaded completing. But options were scarce. With Amos surveilling and me investigating, we'd uncover Leora's destination or motivation. Even if the truth shattered me completely. Sleep eluded me that night, with a flash drive weighing heavily in my pocket like a stone of guilt. The contact list from Neon Brew stared accusingly from my laptop screen, each name a testament to her duplicity. Seattle's relentless rain hammered against the windows, echoing the turbulent emotions churning inside me. While I grappled with this revelation, Leora lounged in Portland, sharing intimate moments with Talia in their upscale condo. Here I sat, clutching irrefutable evidence of her treachery, yet something told me this was merely the tip of the iceberg. I needed to uncover the full extent of her deception. Dawn brought Amos's call, his words hitting me like a physical blow. "Find somewhere private," he growled, his typically gruff voice carrying an extra edge. "Got some pictures. They're difficult to look at." I retreated to my office at Neon Brew, seeking solitude above the gentle whir of espresso machines below. When Amos's email arrived, I opened the attached folder with shaking hands. The first image knocked the wind from my lungs. There stood Leora and Talia outside the rusty anchor, caught in an intimate embrace that spoke volumes. Leora's arms encircled Talia's neck, their faces close enough to share breath, and Leora wore a smile I hadn't witnessed in years. The second photo twisted the knife deeper. Inside the dimly lit bar, Talia's hand rested possessively on Leora's thigh, while they pored over documents bearing Cascade Foods' distinctive logo. The final shot, grainy but clear enough, captured last night's scene. On the condo balcony, Leora leaned into Talia, wine glass in hand, furiously writing in that mysterious black notebook propped on the railing. Nausea gripped me as realization dawned. This betrayal ran deeper than business. I called Amos back, struggling to keep my voice steady. "How long has this been going on?" His lengthy sigh spoke volumes. "Can't say exactly, but I lingered after they went inside. Heard Talia call her babe through the window. Sounded comfortable like old habit. My grip tightened on the phone. That notebook, what's in it? Couldn't get close enough, he replied. But it's crucial. She guards it like a treasure. I ended the call, staring at the damning photos. Babe, a term of endearment she'd once reserved for me, now bestowed upon another. I needed answers. I messaged Juniper and Soren, instructing them to return home immediately after school. No exceptions. When they arrived, drenched from the downpour, I directed them to the kitchen table. Juniper's eyes, keen and penetrating like her mother's, studied me suspiciously. What's going on, Dad? Soren asked nervously, tugging at his sleeve cuff. Drawing a steadying breath, I pushed the laptop toward them, displaying the bar photograph. Your mother isn't just working in Portland, I revealed. She's involved with someone. A woman named Talia. They're in a relationship. The color drained from Juniper's face. Soren's fist crashed against the table, sending the salt shaker wobbling. She deceived us. He erupted, his voice breaking. She claimed it was only business. Juniper remained tearless. She retrieved her laptop from her backpack with determined focus. Give me a moment, she muttered, fingers already dancing across the keyboard. Soren and I watched in amazement at her swift expertise. Her tech skills surpassed mine, but this was extraordinary. She breached Leora's private email using knowledge from her coding group. I couldn't bring myself to stop her. The inbox revealed everything. Countless messages from Talia spanning 8 months. Personal correspondence. Future plans. A recent message cut deepest. Can't wait until you're here permanently, Talia wrote. The lease is finalized. Leora's response. Soon, darling. Just finishing up some details. Details. That's what we were. Myself, the children, Neon Brew. Mere details requiring attention. Soren stormed upstairs, his door slamming. Juniper continued searching, jaw clenched. Suddenly, she stiffened. Dad, look here. An attached scan. A confidentiality agreement between Leora and Cascade Foods, dated 3 months prior. Accompanied by payment details. $50,000 for customer information. $20,000 more for supplier connections. My information. My connections. Bearing her signature. Juniper spoke, voice trembling. She betrayed us. The family and the business. I nodded numbly. Yes, she did. I reached for my phone and dialed Amos again. Still watching the condo? I asked. Yeah, he confirmed. They're inside, looking pretty comfortable. My stomach churned at his words. Find anything about that notebook. Whatever you can. After his agreement, I ended the call, feeling the room tilt beneath me. Juniper closed her laptop decisively, her eyes burning with determination. We can't stand by and let her destroy everything, she declared. I studied my daughter, seeing in her the fighting spirit I'd somehow misplaced along the way. We won't, I assured her. But first, I needed to understand the full scope. The photographs, email exchanges, financial transactions. Leora believed she'd constructed an impenetrable fortress. She was mistaken. I would dismantle it methodically, piece by piece, regardless of the consequences. The rainfall subsided, leaving an unsettling silence in its wake. Too peaceful, like nature holding its breath before unleashing chaos. My eyes drifted to the fractured cup, still resting where she'd abandoned it. A broken promise, just like my shattered trust. The atmosphere in the house grew oppressive following Juniper's revelation, as if the very structure anticipated what would come next. Standing in the kitchen, I fixated on the damaged coffee cup, its splintered surface reflecting the devastation Leora had wrought. The emails with Talia, the confidentiality agreement, the financial transfers, they consumed my thoughts, an inextinguishable inferno. Juniper remained at the table, her computer screen glowing, fingers suspended above the keyboard. Soren descended the stairs, his eyes reddened but resolute. We're fighting back, aren't we? He questioned softly. Without question, I responded. Juniper lifted her gaze, displaying a steely determination I'd never witnessed before. Then we strike back, she declared. With everything we've got. I immediately contacted Amos, desperate for any information he could uncover. He answered from his surveillance position, Portland's urban soundtrack in the background. Found something interesting, he reported. That notebook? Spotted it through a window yesterday. Appeared to be some kind of ledger, dates, and numbers. Leora gave it to Talia, and they had a heated argument. Couldn't catch the words, but Talia left angry. My heart raced. A ledger? Recording what exactly? Transactions? Names? Amos cleared his throat. Still investigating. They're at the condo now, but something's definitely wrong. You can feel the hostility. Keep watching, I instructed. That notebook is crucial. Next, I gathered the kids in my office at Neon Brew. The shop was silent, shuttered for the day, with its signature warm lighting dimmed to a whisper. I laid out the brutal truth without sugarcoating. Your mother isn't just abandoning us. She's betraying everything we built, selling our legacy to Cascade Foods. Juniper's fists clenched instinctively, while Soren lashed out, kicking a chair that scraped across the floor with a hollow echo. I displayed the NDA on my laptop screen, her digital signature staring back accusingly. $50,000 for our meticulously built client database. Another $20,000 for our supplier network. Juniper snatched her phone, her eyes blazing with determination. I can work with this, she declared. There's someone at school. His father practices law. We can take legal action. I gave her a firm nod. Make it happen. I am initiating divorce proceedings. And this isn't staying hidden. By midday, Juniper had secured Paul Raines, her friend's father, a lean, sharp-eyed attorney who met us at the shop, examining our evidence with calculated interest. This is exactly what we need, he confirmed. Clear breach of trust, corporate espionage. We can target both Leora and Cascade. Juniper announced her intention to file separately, citing emotional trauma and damages. Despite her age, she had legal standing. I watched my daughter, feeling a complex mixture of pride and heartache. Time is critical, I emphasized. Paul concurred, already drafting initial documents. I stepped out into Seattle's characteristic damp air that bit at my skin, dialing Nora Tate, a journalist who'd covered our business's early success. Come to the flagship location, I said simply. Major story breaking. She arrived within 20 minutes. I positioned myself beneath the shop's iconic neon signage, its green luminescence pulsing against the overcast sky. Nora brought video equipment, and curious onlookers began gathering, sensing impending revelations. I inhaled deeply, feeling the gravity of what I was about to do. I'm Gideon Harrow. I began steadily. Founder of Neon Brew. For 15 years, Leora and I built this together. Yesterday, I discovered she's been selling company secrets to Cascade Foods. What's more, she's living with her marketing director, Talia Grayson, in Portland. Deceiving me, our children, everyone. I raised the NDA, crumpled from my tight grip. Here's her signature. Evidence she sold our life's work for quick cash and a fresh start. The camera zoomed in as I continued speaking. She thought she could silence us, bury this story. She was mistaken. My daughter is taking legal action against Cascade for their transgressions. I'm filing for divorce from Leora for the person she's become. This extends beyond personal grievances. It's about violating trust. Every coffee we've served, every patron we've welcomed, she's betrayed it all. I need to understand why. What drove her to this? What secrets is she keeping? The gathered crowd murmured in response. Phones raised to capture the moment. Nora's expression brightened, recognizing the magnitude of the story. I stepped away from the microphone, my heart racing. Within hours, the footage had gone viral, trending across platforms, with Neon Brew dominating headlines. Leora called that evening, her voice trembling through the speaker. Gideon, what the hell are you doing? You're destroying me. I stood on my porch, listening to raindrops hitting the roof, letting her words linger. You destroyed us, I responded. You sold out our business. You walked away from our children. For what? Talia? Money? She faltered. It's more complicated than that. You don't understand. I interrupted her. Then make me understand. Right now. She fell quiet, then disconnected. My phone lit up moments later. Amos. They're panicking, he reported. Saw the coverage at the condo. Talia shattered a glass. Leora's frantically pacing, discussing damage control. That notebook's sitting open on the table. I leaned in closer. Can you read it? He hesitated. Not yet, but I'll find a way. They're unraveling, Gideon. This is your chance. I returned inside where Juniper and Soren waited. They'd watched the footage. Soren embraced me, quick but intense. Juniper wore a satisfied smirk. Mom's finished, she declared. I nodded, though the victory felt empty. The notebook remained elusive, a crucial piece in this fractured puzzle. Leora was breaking, but she wasn't finished. Neither was I. The rain intensified, thundering against the windows, drowning everything except thoughts of the battle ahead. The aftermath of my press conference struck with devastating force. By sunrise, Neon Brew's lines were jammed, supporters flooding our locations, their voices echoing across social media. Cascade Foods' shares plummeted, their platforms overwhelmed with public outrage. Leora's world was imploding, and I'd ignited the flame. But I couldn't rest. Not yet. That notebook haunted me, a persistent shadow. Amos called at daybreak, his tone hushed, urgent. "Meet me in Portland," he said. "Got the notebook. You need to see this immediately." I grabbed my keys, instructed Juniper and Soren to stay with Callie, and drove off, the 3-hour journey blurring past in a haze of rain and anticipation. I found Amos in a rundown diner along I-5, where the tables were sticky and the air was thick with the scent of overcooked coffee. He pushed a worn black notebook toward me, its corners worn and tattered. "Snagged it from their balcony," he explained. "Talia left it out during their argument. They're falling apart, Gideon," pointing fingers at each other. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside were detailed records, dates, transactions, contacts. Not just Neon Brew's information, but data from countless businesses, vendors, and rivals. Leora had been trafficking confidential information for months, orchestrating a complex network of corporate espionage. Then one entry made my heart stop. Neon Brew transfer. Complete ownership. 6-figure deal. Scheduled next week. My chest tightened. She wasn't just selling pieces of information. She was orchestrating my complete downfall. Amos moved closer. "There's something else." Discovered a burner phone hidden in the cover. Password is her birth date. I switched it on, revealing a stream of messages. A recent one from Talia caught my eye. "This leak means the end. Deal with it, or I'm gone." Leora's response. "I'll take care of Gideon. He's just posturing." Rage coursed through me. Posturing? I'd already exposed her, yet she thought she could regain control. An earlier message from an unknown contact read, "Payment received. Erase all traces." I turned to Amos. "Someone above her is pulling strings," I said. He agreed. "Definitely. Cascade's just a cover. This conspiracy runs deeper." I immediately headed to Paul Rain's office with the evidence. He studied it intently, his expression grave. "This is explosive," he declared. "Conspiracy, fraud, potential racketeering charges. We can destroy both Cascade and Leora now. Plus, Juniper's case is bulletproof." That afternoon, I filed for divorce, citing adultery and financial deception, including a restraining order. Paul expedited Juniper's legal action, unleashing everything against Cascade. By evening, news outlets were running with the story. Seattle coffee chain owner reveals wife's corporate espionage network. Leora appeared on screen, looking stunned and trapped. Amos delivered the final update. "They vanished," he reported. "The condo's deserted. Left everything in disarray, half-packed luggage strewn about. Talia's vehicle is gone too." Standing on my porch, watching raindrops cascade from the eaves, I felt a momentary lightness, only for the heaviness to return. The property sold within days, a young pair securing it at a bargain. I relocated us to a spacious home near Lake Washington, featuring 4 bedrooms and misty waterfront views. Neon Brew flourished, with loyal customers transforming our struggle into inspiration. Juniper and Soren healed gradually, their rage mellowing into memory. Nora Tate, the journalist, became an unexpected regular, her wry wit surprisingly therapeutic. Then the courts ruled. Cascade lost big. Juniper and Soren each got $500,000 in damages, enough to secure their futures. I walked away with $2 million, blood money for 15 years torched. Leora and Talia surfaced in a rundown Portland apartment, fired, disgraced, their names poison in the industry. Her family cut her off, her calls to the kids ignored. She sent me a letter once, ink smudged with tears. "I am sorry, Gideon. I got lost." I burned it without a second thought. She made her choice, and it cost her everything. Job, love, us. The crack cup sits on my new mantle now, a reminder. Deceit doesn't just break trust, it rips lives apart. Leora's lies left her a ghost, haunting a life she threw away. Me? I learned the hard way. Truth hurts, but hiding it destroys. You can rebuild from pain, but not from ashes. The journey today has come to an end. Did you find this ending satisfying? Or did it catch you off guard? Let us know how you feel right below. If you love this story, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe so you won't miss the next adventure. Thanks for sticking with us, and see you in the next tale.